Hi everyone, it's Jen from Simple Local Life, and I'm back here after Thanksgiving with my friend Elspeth here at Wells Lake Farm Market. How are you, Elspeth?
I am good, and we're going to talk apples.
You're getting out your apple a day, I see.
I try to eat one a day.
Yes, I do too. Actually, I just had a snack today with an apple and some peanut butter.
Yes.
So it was a beautiful Thanksgiving weekend.
What is that?
It was lovely weather, lots of good food, and lots of family gatherings. Maybe too much. So I had turkey.
Can you ever have too much turkey?
No, I had a turkey sandwich for lunch, and I'm looking forward to a nice plate of leftovers. So no, I'm good. Anyway, you guys had a good weekend here at the market?
We did, yes.
Good.
And now we're coasting to the end.
Yes.
November the 5th will be our closing date.
Okay.
Just to put that out there.
Wow.
We have a little sign up to say that, but we are closing November the 5th.
Okay. Time is going.
It is flying by.
Now, once Thanksgiving's over, I find it's just like, it really starts to go.
It does go fast,
yeah.
And in keeping with the going fast, it's time to plant bulbs. It's now Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We've had some cold nights. We're getting cold nights now.
Yes.
And this is a time where we're going to remind people to plant their bulbs.
Okay.
And I have a nice little display here. I know we've talked bulbs before, but we've kind of spread it out. And I'm going to do a little kind of summary point on planting bulbs. And the first thing is to pick the right location. Full sun or under trees that are, if you plant bulbs that are going to bloom early, then the leaves can come out on the trees after the bulbs are finished.
Right.
So in the short term, think about putting the bulbs in under trees or in other areas where they're going to get plenty of sun and well-drained soil.
Okay.
And I see we have a customer.
Yeah, Elspeth has a customer. I'll show some of the bulbs while you... Do you want to zip away for a second? Yeah, so Elspeth brought out lots of her bulbs here for her.
Yes, right here. You are. Yes, and you'll just pay down the mark.
These are the alums.
Yeah.
These are so pretty. Sorry, she's just got a customer. I'll just wait 1 second.
No, but
you can make a guest appearance if you'd like.
We are live, folks.
We are. I was just getting ready to show them these beautiful favorites, these alums. So pretty and very popular.
They are, and they're deer resistant because they are in the onion family. And there's a whole series of alliums, different varieties. You have a really one that gets really tall. Some of these are smaller ones. And this is, I love these because they look really lovely mixed in with daffodils.
Ooh.
But they're also in the allium family, so deer are less likely to eat them.
Okay.
And this is an important thing in thinking about planting bulbs here in Lunenburg County. Although we sell tulips, and I am happy to sell tulips to you, you may not want to plant them if you have a deer problem because deer really like daffodils. The other one, or not daffodils, tulips.
Tulips.
Daffodils, the alliums, the fritillarias, that would be this one.
Love these.
People will know that as Crown Imperial.
Yeah.
And this is such a delicate looking little one that looks like, I call it the salamander. It looks like a little salamander. It's got
Oh
little
my goodness,
spots
look at
on
that.
it. And it's
Wow.
very delicate and beautiful.
Love
Just
that.
the sweetest little bulbs.
Yes.
All of the ones we're showing you are bulbs that will last for many, many years in your garden. So if you think they're kind of expensive to buy bulbs, you think of it as an investment. They are perennial that will continue to come back year after year.
Yes.
Tulips, some of the varieties of tulips you have to replace every 3 to 5 years.
Right.
But by and large, you can count on the daffodils, crocuses, the alliums, fritillaria, hyacinths, and so forth as all being bulbs that will return year after year.
Right.
And so that it is a good investment.
Yeah.
So back to my little introduction on location.
Yes.
So think about full sun
Yes.
and well-drained soil.
Okay.
And it can be under a tree, but think about what bulb you're putting in. If you put something in that's going to bloom early, like in late March, snowdrops, early tulips, or some of the early daffodils, they'll be in bloom before the leaves come out on the tree.
Right.
And so then you can put them under tree, in more what you might consider a shady area.
Yeah, because now when people are starting to plant, especially if
Yes,
they start over Thanksgiving, there's still leaves out, and you're looking going, well, this isn't really a full sun area. But come next March or April, that will be full sun probably because the leaves won't be out yet.
Right. So, and the other thing is people have been asking, can I plant the bulbs? And I'm saying yes from here on out. I've planted as late as December, but now the nights are cooler. We've had some heavy frosts.
Yes.
The flowers are starting to look a little tired, but it's been amazing.
It has been.
I was chatting with a guy in town today, and he was telling me all about, how successful his flowers had been and how long his garden had lasted and looked good.
Yeah.
And I know my flowers at home, I've really only thrown out a few things just because I wanted the pots for the mums. And but my coleus kind of took a beating in the frost the other night.
Mine did too, but I
but
still have cut like on my cosmos and some.
Yeah. Some things are still looking good.
Still looking okay.
And honestly, I still have tomato plants.
Yes,
with
I do
tomatoes
too.
that I'm still harvesting.
I
So
do too.
this is a treat.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about planting bulbs, go at it
Now's
now.
the time.
And we still have some garlic available. So
Okay,
garlic, it's time to put that in the ground as well.
Yeah, it's a great fall activity. Planting bulbs and
They
garlic.
would be perfect.
It would be.
And this week is looking pretty good. Rain on Friday, but the next couple of days, now that you've had your fall feast, you might want to get a little extra exercise.
Good idea.
And planting bulbs and gardening is a great little
That
exercise.
is a great idea.
Yes,
Love
a lot
it.
of bend and stretching.
Yes,
Don't
we all
have to
need
go
that.
to the gym. My morning workout at the gym. Okay, the next thing that we want to talk about are apples, because
Yes.
right now we are in the peak of apple season,
Yes.
and there's nothing more, I think, one of the most versatile fruits that we have available, grown in Nova Scotia, plentiful here, are apples.
Yes.
And everything from applesauce to dried apples to pies, muffins, apple crisp, you name it.
Yes.
There's a room, or just having a good
Just as a
crunchy
snack.
apple as a snack
Yeah.
is a great thing.
Beautiful.
And what I want to talk about today are the different varieties we have. So right now in the market,
I told Elspeth she brought her little Red Riding Hood basket with her.
I did, full of apples. So today we're going to talk about 5 different
Okay.
ones. Honeycrisp, which is, I think, best for fresh eating.
Yes.
Very crunchy, very large. I always describe this as the sharing apple because cut it in half and eat half, and
Yes.
then you're not wasting it.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's just so big that you find it difficult. I do to eat the whole
It's a big
thing.
apple,
It is a
yeah.
big apple.
Yeah.
This one's even bigger. Like this is a huge, that's a meal for me. Anyway, but Honeycrisp available here in the market. We have them in 3-pound bags
Okay.
as well as in bulk. So you could just buy 1 or 2 if you want,
Very
or you can
popular.
get a 3-pound
Yeah.
bag. The one that we've talked about that we have had available for a number of weeks has been the Gravenstein. Still really nice, but one of the things I like to tell people is eat the apple that is in season. Well, you think all the apples are in season, but there are some apples that do definitely have a specific season. And I always take this tip from my late father-in-law, Bernie Wile, who taught me early in my days at the farm. Gravenstein should be eaten by the end of October.
Oh.
And the reason is they get a little mealy and
Okay.
a little bit soft
Okay.
just by the natural ripening that continues
Yes.
once they're harvested.
Yes, yes.
So use up your Gravensteins, folks. If you've got a bag or you need a bag, we're happy to sell you a bag. We have lots still
Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
But between now and the close of the market is when you should get your Gravensteins and use them up.
Yeah.
Make a pie, freeze it, just, make your pie crust, put the pie crust in,
Yeah.
cut up the apples, put the crust on the top, pop it in the freezer.
She
and
makes
then you
it
can
sound so easy,
well,
doesn't
I'm
she?
only saying that because I actually
Make a crust, get your apples ready.
I made an apple pie.
I know you sure. I'm sure you did.
On the weekend.
Oh,
and
nice.
it was, the people I gave it to said we should have taken a picture of it.
Oh,
It
beautiful.
was, I have to say, it was
Beautiful.
pretty spectacular.
Well, that's
you know what?
nice.
I did all the things you're supposed to do, which included the egg wash on the top, which I often don't do, but you just take an egg yolk and a little bit of water, brush it over, and then I had that coarse sugar,
little
and I
sugar
sprinkled
topping.
that over the
Oh,
top,
my.
and it was picture perfect.
does
And I put it in a nice deep pie dish, so it looked, and I put a lot of apples in, so it was nice and plump. It was
You
picture
should have
perfect.
took a picture of this,
I
Elspeth.
know. Anyway, I
And
don't do it very often.
So
I have
here's
to say.
my tip. Not Elspeth. I don't quickly make a pie, but what I do is if I have like half a bag of Gravensteins left and I've made others, I make a lot of apple crisp for the kids and stuff, but then I will just peel them quick and chop them up and make applesauce, just so that they don't go to waste
Yes.
and that I have
And it
that.
freezes well.
And that I put in the
Applesauce
freezer.
freezes really well.
Yeah.
Anyway, but please, folks, I do not make apple pies regularly. I'm bragging.
It was Thanksgiving. It's a special occasion.
And it was a special gift for my neighbors, my new neighbors.
Nice.
So
good.
anyway, and I went and ate turkey at their house after work last night, so it was very nice.
Nice.
Anyway, so apple pies with Gravensteins.
Yes.
Another really good eating apple are Ginger Gold. This is,
I love Ginger Gold.
besides the Honeycrisp, these are my favorites right now. Again, an apple that you should eat up soon. Like, they get ripe. When they've got this nice yellow cast to them, they're really ready to eat. I'm going to eat this one after we finish today.
Okay.
And but they're really good for fresh eating. I have made thrown them in, like if I have a few in the fridge and I'm short of apples and I want to make some apple crisp or applesauce. I have made it, but they're quite sweet. They have a bit of a pear taste undertone to them. So I don't highly recommend them for cooking, but I think they're best for fresh eating. Macintosh, an old favorite, and a Canadian developed apple, developed in Ontario by Mr. Macintosh, of course, back in the late 1800s. And it was an apple that was, I think, when I first started selling apples, which is now almost 40 years ago. Oh my.
It couldn't be.
Oh yeah, it is. It's getting close. Macintosh were the apple of choice for fresh eating.
Yes.
And that is not the case anymore, but they're still a really good apple.
Yes.
The size is good for children because they tend not to be too large. They're crunchy, and my mother-in-law, Clarice, always put a few Macintosh in her apple pie, which I learned from her was a really good idea, to put a few in with your Gravensteins or your Cortlands, because the Macintosh gets soft, and so they produce kind of this soft apple sauce in the pie, and it kind of coats down around the slices of the other pieces of pie, or pieces of apple, and I think that's kind of the way I like my apple pie.
Yes.
And so the Macintosh is a really good addition to that.
Good.
And you know, you can still cook with them, but they do get a bit mushy when you cook. So maybe not the best if you want to have very defined slices in a dessert, or in a dessert.
Okay. Well, I think
We're at the Cortland.
the Cortland. Okay, I was going to say, did we cover them all?
No, Cortland, and beautiful apple. Probably one of the most versatile apples.
Okay.
Fresh eating, good for pies, good for apple crisp, fabulous dried apples, and also applesauce. So, you know, and it stores well. That's the other thing. So Cortland's last way on till next spring. Unlike the Gravensteins, which you want to eat before the end of October, and the Macintosh, which tend to get a bit soft later, later in the winter. But Cortlands are really good for long storage.
Yes.
We sell them in the spring, and they're still really nice and crunchy. It's probably the apple we use the most often in our chicken apple soup.
Oh.
So that's what the girls are using. Oh no, they're still using Gravensteins. But in the chicken apple soup, this is a really lovely apple. So if you have a soup recipe, or if you're making squash soup that calls for apples, this is one that I would recommend, just because either this or Gravenstein, because it has a lot of really good flavor, and I won't say it's sour, but it's tart, and that's what you want with the sweetness of the butternut squash.
Yes.
So those are my tips on apples. It is the fruit you should be eating now.
It is.
Eat the apple that's in season, and now you know what I mean when I say that. Eat those Gravensteins before the end of October, and then move on to something else, like a nice Cortland.
Yeah.
And we will have some other varieties before we close, but these are the main ones that I know people are looking for.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about this before too, but just because you started mentioning the last day the market's open, but you know, some people like to stock up before that, so it's still time for people to call and put in an order if it's that chicken soup or brown bread or anything like that from the Market Kitchen. Now's the time to kind of give them a heads up.
We're happy to take orders, and we try to spread them out over that last week to 10 days so that we're not having people all rush in at the very end and be disappointed that they can't get what they want.
Yeah.
So we do highly encourage you to call if you want things for your freezer, and then we'll arrange and call you, or we can set up a mutually agreeable time to come pick them up during the market season.
Okay.
Those last weeks.
I think Susan just asked if is there any pickling cukes left, or is she too late?
Too late here.
Too late,
Yes,
Susan.
and I would say too late everywhere.
Next season will be here before you know it, and
We do have some lovely pickles still available in the market, but not dills. We have sweet beet pickles, mustard pickles, green chow, and
that's the problem when everything seems to come in at once, and then trying to get everything canned and processed.
Sometimes you can miss things.
Run out of time sometimes, but you know, there's always next year. Anyway, well, thank you so much, Elspeth. The market is still open every day, 9 to 6.
9 to 6, our regular hours, and we're happy to see people over the next few weeks and get going with the bulb planting.
Yes, get your bulbs planting, eat your apple a day here, carry them around in a cute basket if you Anyway, well, thank you so much, Elspeth, and thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back again in a couple weeks.
Okay. That'll probably be our
That'll
last
probably
one.
be our last one, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys again. Have a great day. Bye.